This episode is provided by Thomas Allgaier and Frennis, based on the most relevant LinkedIn posts about AI and B2B marketing in calendar weeks 29 and 30. Frennis is a B2B market research company that supports enterprise marketing teams in unlocking the full potential of their customer data with the help of AI.
And for those of you listening who are, strategic B2B marketing professionals, today is really about getting under the hood of what's actually working right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because, imagine a key enterprise buyer is researching software for their company. They don't go to Google anymore.
Right, they just don't.
They don't. They ask ChatGPT to compare you and your biggest rival. And in about, 2 seconds, the AI doesn't just list your features.
No, it invents a massive downside to your product.
Yes, based on like a 2-year-old Reddit thread. And the buyer crosses you off the shortlist immediately, and you never even knew they were looking.
Which is terrifying.
It's the reality of B2B marketing right now, though. If you look at the landscape, there is just so much noise. So our mission today is to cut right through that hype.
Yeah, we have to look at the actual operational shifts happening on the ground.
Right.
Because we are finally moving past the era of, simple prompt hacks. If you are just trying to figure out how to write a slightly better prompt for a blog post, you're missing the structural revolution.
You're completely missing.
Today is about the systems that B2B leaders are building to win in this agentic era. It's about rewiring your entire revenue engine, basically.
So let's start at the very beginning of that revenue engine. Because before you can sell anything, you have to actually be found.
Right. Discovery.
Exactly. But discovery has fundamentally moved off the traditional brand website. It's gone straight into AI answer engine.
It's a complete shift in the physics of buyer behavior.
Yeah.
Generative engine optimization, or GEO, and answer engine optimization, AEO.
Those are basically replacing traditional SEO now.
Totally.
And to really understand what that looks like for your pipeline, Sarah Soleimani pointed out a reality that I think should wake up every go-to-market leader.
Oh, the shortlist thing.
Yes. She noted that B2B buyers are now forming their vendor shortlists entirely inside AI tools.
Before they ever even visit a brand's website.
Exactly. By the time they hit your landing page, the decision is, well, it's basically already made.
And that creates a massive problem for marketers because the rules of visibility are now completely fragmented.
How so? Like compared to the old days?
Well, think about traditional SEO, right?
Right.
You optimize for Google, and that basically covered your bases for everyone.
Right. Google was the only game in town.
But Andrew Warden shared some really eye-opening data on this. He compared Google AI overviews to Gemini.
Okay.
Now, Google controls both of these, obviously. Yet there is only a 30% overlap between cited sources and mentions on Gemini, compared to a 64% overlap on Google AI overviews.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So even within the exact same Google ecosystem, the AI is looking at entirely different signals to decide if your brand is worth mentioning.
Exactly. Shared corporate infrastructure does not mean shared rules anymore. And it gets vastly more complicated across the different platforms.
I can imagine.
Rochelle Tognetti broke down how each major AI evaluates trust, actually. She noted that ChatGPT heavily rewards credibility established on places like Wikipedia and Reddit.
Okay, Wikipedia and Reddit for ChatGPT.
Right. But Gemini, on the other hand, tracks your presence on Google Shopping.
Google Shopping? That's so different.
I know. And then, if you want to show up in Google AI overviews, the model leans heavily on YouTube content.
Okay, let's unpack this metaphorically because it's wild. It's like taking the bar exam in 50 different states.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
You can't just study the law broadly anymore. You have to know what specifically matters to the judge in that specific room.
Exactly.
ChatGPT is a judge who loves Wikipedia and Reddit debates. Gemini is a judge who only cares about your retail footprint. So how can a brand possibly build authority across all these, fragmented, contradictory rules?
You have to focus on something called the citation core.
The citation core.
Yeah. Alexandra London analyzed Shopify's visibility in ChatGPT to figure out why they completely dominate. And Shopify's presence isn't driven by its own massive blog.
Oh, it's not.
No, their visibility is anchored by over 1,000 citations from G2 and 800 citations from Capterra.
Wow.
It perfectly aligns with what Thomas Ross outlines in his Vantage scorecard, actually. AI models, borrow trust from third parties.
Right.
They do not trust your own marketing copy.
Okay, let me make sure I'm getting the mechanics of this. If I publish, say, 1,000 amazing blog posts about why my software is the absolute best.
The AI essentially discounts that.
Because I'm biased, right? But if 100 independent software review sites say I'm the best, the AI takes that as like mathematical proof.
Precisely. It's a probabilistic model. The AI triangulates your brand's value based on what the aggregate web says about you.
So you can't buy your way in.
Nope. You cannot pay your way into the sources AI trusts. You have to earn that density of mentions elsewhere.
Which makes the way these engines display results incredibly high stakes.
Oh, for sure.
Arun Prasad ran a brilliant test on this exact dynamic. He created a 5-axis test to evaluate AI answers.
Right, looking at things like presence, slot.
Yeah, presence, slot, coverage, liability, and door. But I really want to zero in on that liability axis because when I read this, it stopped me in my tracks.
It's the most critical one, honestly.
It is. AI platforms will now assign unprompted objections to your brand in a comparison grid.
Before the buyer even speaks to you.
Exactly. It fundamentally changes sales.
It really does. Imagine a prospect asks an AI to compare you and a competitor. The AI doesn't just give a neutral list of features anymore.
Right. It's not just a bulleted list.
It actively generates a downside or a liability for your brand, maybe citing a complex implementation process or a lack of customer support.
And it bases this on aggregated internet sentiment.
Exactly. And it presents this liability as an objective fact to the buyer.
That is wild because objection handling used to happen on a live sales call, right? Where a rep could actually provide context, or maybe on a carefully crafted landing page.
Right, you had control.
But now the AI handles the objection for the buyer in a split second, completely out of your control. You literally can't defend yourself.
No, you can't.
So how do we even start measuring this if it's all happening inside a private chat window?
Well, we're just now getting the visibility tools to do it. Niraj highlighted that Google Search Console is finally offering first-party reporting on AI overviews and AI mode impressions.
Oh, really? That's huge.
Yeah, it's basically the first real window marketers have into organic AI visibility.
And on the paid side, things are moving just as fast, right? Bill Stathopoulos shared that ChatGPT just opened self-serve ads.
Yes, at a $25 daily minimum, I think.
Yeah, but the wild part is that there is zero keyword targeting.
None at all.
You just describe who you want to reach, and the AI matches your ad directly into relevant user conversations dynamically.
That completely shifts the entire paradigm. But let's follow the buyer's journey here for a second.
Yep.
Let's say you've successfully gamed the answer engine. You built your citation core. You're on the AI's shortlist, and the buyer is now fully aware of you.
Right.
Awareness doesn't close deals.
Yeah.
How do you actually capture that intent? That's where the traditional outbound stack is completely falling apart right now.
Yeah, totally. Because if you're highly visible to AI, but your outbound motion is still running on some manual, fragmented, 6-tool stack from 2019.
You can't capitalize on that demand.
You just can't.
And we are seeing a complete overhaul of how outbound is structured to fix that exact issue.
Shabir Mohsen shared a perfect operational example of this. He's using an AI go-to-market agent that monitors over 40 different buying signals simultaneously.
40 signals?
Yeah. It completely replaces the manual outbound stack. It researches the prospects, cross-references all 40 signals, drafts the sequences, and runs the entire workflow.
So the humans just step in for the actual sales calls.
Exactly.
And look at the scale of this when deployed correctly. Alex Vaca detailed a workflow using just 4 prompts for a sales development representative.
Just 4 prompts.
Just 4. And it was scaled across more than 275 B2B companies. Those 4 core prompts generated $7.83 million in pipeline.
That's unbelievable.
It proves that deep research and list building are now fundamentally agent work. Oh, and speaking of scaling that research, there was that pre-event scoring model, too.
Oh, right. Vladimir Blagojevich's model.
Exactly. He took 1,300 event attendees and automatically triaged them down to 119 high-value targets.
Before the event even happened.
Right, before any conversations even took place.
Wait, hold on, though. I have to push back here a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
40 signals, or scaling prompts across hundreds of companies. Most sales teams I know can barely handle basic intent data from their own website without drowning in false positives.
That's true.
And then they just end up spamming people. So how is a hyper-automated AI agent not just creating more noise? Are we just automating the wrong part of the funnel here?
It's a valid question.
Because Steve Armenti pointed out that buyers initiate 80% of first conversations themselves. Deals are ultimately decided by familiarity and relationships.
Right.
So why are we trying to speed up cold outbound if the buyer has already made their shortlist through AI?
I love that you brought this up,
Well,
because that is the exact trap most companies fall into right now. Automating a broken process just means you fail at scale.
exactly. Faster garbage, basically.
Yes, and your pushback raises the most critical issue in AI go-to-market right now, which is the underlying data bottleneck.
The data decay, right.
Ryan Staley observed that B2B data decays at roughly 30% a year.
Wow, 30%.
Yeah. People change jobs, companies pivot, budgets freeze. This data rot is exactly why 95% of enterprise AI pilots fail.
So it's not that the AI model itself isn't smart enough. It's that we are feeding it absolute garbage.
Precisely. If you feed an AI stale, wrong, or thin data, a highly confident, perfectly written email sent to the wrong person is actually worse than doing nothing at all.
It damages the brand.
Exactly. You don't need a smarter model. You need honest, pristine data. Maj Voji's case study on owner.com illustrates this perfectly.
Oh, I saw that. They hit nearly $100 million in annual recurring revenue, right?
In under 4 years.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it by just turning on quote-unquote AI SDRs to blast more emails.
Right.
They did it by managing system throughput and driving deep organizational change around their data. They treated AI as an operational shift, not just a software update.
Which is such a crucial distinction. And actually, speaking of operational shifts, if you listening are finding these structural changes in B2B marketing as fascinating as we are, make sure to hit subscribe so you catch all our future deep dives. We are tracking this evolution constantly.
Because that organizational change is really where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly. You clearly can't run an AI native outbound motion with a siloed 2015 era org chart. The structure of marketing teams has to fundamentally break down and rebuild.
It has to.
If you are a CMO listening to this right now, just look at your org chart. You probably have a team of channel specialists, right? An SEO person, a paid social person, an email person.
And according to Carolyn Healy, who referenced Gartner's 2028 projections, that structure is going to be completely obsolete.
Really?
Yeah. Gartner states that 60% of brands will use agentic one-to-one adoption. This effectively spells the end of traditional channel-based marketing structures.
Wow. So the marketing leader's job is completely shifting.
It's shifting from being a campaign architect to being a systems designer.
But restructuring a team is intensely political. I mean, people are protective of their roles.
Oh, absolutely.
John Miller shared a great story about Daxco that shows what it actually takes to do this. Daxco is currently running over 80 AI agents. 80. But they didn't get there by making it a side hustle. They didn't just tell their team to, play around with ChatGPT on Friday.
Right, it wasn't a hobby.
No. They only achieved that scale by pulling a vice president entirely out of their day job to build a dedicated AI center of excellence.
Taking a VP offline to focus solely on AI orchestration is a massive commitment.
It really is.
But it's necessary because, as Chris Kohler pointed out, marketing roles are shifting back toward generalists rather than narrow specialists.
Interesting. Why generalists?
Because the AI is the ultimate specialist now. It can write the code, it can draft the copy, it can analyze the spreadsheet. What you need are generalists who can orchestrate all those specialist agents.
But let's talk about the danger of getting that orchestration wrong. Because right now, for the average team, it feels like an orchestra where every single musician is playing a completely different song in their own practice room.
That is a very accurate picture.
Right. One person uses Claude, another uses a custom GPT, someone else is using an AI writing tool. They all have different prompts and absolutely no shared standard.
And Oren Greenberg highlighted that this fragmented individual AI adoption is actually the single largest tax on B2B marketing ROI right now.
A tax on ROI? That makes so much sense.
It creates this illusion of productivity. When everyone uses AI for low-friction tasks in their own silo, you don't get a symphony, you just get a racket.
Right.
The team is just operating at the exact same headcount with slightly better grammar. To fix this, you have to prove the fundamentals first.
Okay, but how do you do that without just adding more tools to the pile?
You do it by hand. Andrei Zankovich broke down how Backbase handled this transition. They ran a completely manual account-based marketing pilot first to prove their go-to-market fundamentals.
Manual, like no AI at all.
None. They figured out the exact sequence, the messaging that got a real human to reply, all manually. They didn't let AI automate anything until they had proven the process actually worked.
Because you cannot automate a process your team hasn't nailed down manually.
Exactly. If the manual process is broken, AI just scales the chaos.
And that brings up the risk of teams trying to build their own workarounds. Rachel Roundy talks about the IKEA effect in software.
Oh, the IKEA effect.
Yeah, it's the danger of teams vibe coding their own messy, fragile tools instead of relying on stable, enterprise-grade infrastructure.
Right, because a marketer might build a clever prototype that looks great in a demo, but it completely falls apart in production when it hits real customer data.
Exactly.
Alex Azzopardi's update on ServiceNow reinforces this reality, actually. They saw a 9-fold jump in production agentic AI customers.
The 9-fold jump.
Yeah, but that massive scale was driven entirely by strict governance, not just deployment speed. Safe orchestration at scale is where the real work is.
Because governance sounds super boring until your vibe-coded AI agent starts hallucinating custom pricing to a key enterprise account.
And legally binds you to.
Right.
Precisely. Governance is the brakes that allow you to drive fast without crashing your brand.
Okay, so let's bring this high-level org transformation down to the individual practitioner. If we have this new team of B2B generalists, how do they actually work with AI day to day?
It's changing fast.
Because we are definitively moving away from just typing a question into a chat box and hoping for a good answer.
We're moving from single-shot prompting to packaged capabilities and workflows.
And Apishik Jha shared a great practical example of this. He uses what he calls a Claude routine.
Oh, I love this one.
Right. Every single day at 7 a.m., a workflow runs automatically. It scans competitor updates, pulls account intelligence from across the web, and drops a synthesized summary for him before he even wakes up.
No code required, no manual trigger.
Exactly.
And Zohi Mustafa expanded on this with the concept of reusable Claude skills. Instead of a marketer writing a one-off prompt over and over again to, say, analyze a campaign, they package that capability into a repeatable building block.
But the real magic of those building blocks is what they can connect to, right?
Yes. And that is where Model Context Protocol, or MCP, comes in.
Can you explain MCP really quickly for those who might not know?
Sure. Think of MCP as a secure, universal translator between your AI and your actual databases.
Oh.
So instead of you downloading a spreadsheet from a tool and pasting it into Claude, MCP allows Claude to securely reach into that tool, run the query itself, and pull exactly what it needs.
That is a massive workflow shift. I mean, Annie York used an MCP connection with SEMrush, and it completely changed her output.
Oh yeah, her keyword research.
Yeah, she cut her keyword research time from 4 hours down to 20 minutes. But it wasn't just about doing the exact same task faster. The MCP allowed her to shift her entire focus.
Right, from keywords to questions.
Exactly. Instead of traditional SEO asking what keywords people search for, the MCP allowed her to focus on the specific questions the AI needs to answer before it decides to cite a brand.
It's a structural change in how work gets done.
It's like moving from checking 10 different disconnected dashboards to just asking a hyper-competent colleague who has already memorized every single file on your server.
And can synthesize it instantly.
Exactly. Amelia Muller made a fascinating point along these lines, too. She talked about connecting live meeting transcripts and client briefs directly inside Claude.
So the AI isn't giving generic internet-scraped advice.
Right. It's looking at live proprietary data and giving a prioritized action plan based on that. Which really makes me wonder, does this mean context engineering is now officially more important than prompt engineering?
Absolutely. The prompt is just the trigger. The context is the intelligence.
That's a great way to put it.
Kieran Flanagan confirmed this dynamic perfectly. He noted that a marketer's ultimate leverage used to be domain authority, right? If you had high domain authority, your content won on Google.
Right.
Today, AI and automated workflows are the new leverage. The variable that separates a brilliant output from a useless one, using the exact same AI model, isn't how cleverly you phrase the prompt.
It's the context.
It is the depth, quality, and structure of the context you provided.
Context wins every single time.
Even in highly creative work. Jessica Aries tested a carousel design across 4 different AI tools.
Oh, I saw this test.
Yeah, she found that tools like Claude Design actually make structural design decisions based on the context provided, rather than just blindly filling in a visual template.
So it actually understands what it's making.
It understood the hierarchy of information, and arranged the design logically, much like a human designer would, purely because the context was engineered correctly.
Wow. So we've traced this incredible evolution today. We've gone from the black box of discovery in AI answer engines to restructuring how we capture intent through AI-driven outbound.
We looked at why you have to tear down your old marketing org chart to govern all this.
Right, all the way down to the daily context engineering of an individual marketer's workflow. It is a complete structural rewiring of B2B marketing.
It is. And if we pull all of these threads together, there's one final profound implication that every go-to-market leader needs to internalize today.
Okay, what's that?
Well, Patrick Berghoff introduced this concept of the oscillation tax.
The oscillation tax. What does that actually mean in practice?
Well, if we connect the oscillation tax back to Arun Prasad's liability axis from our very first theme.
Oh, right. The idea that AI generates unprompted objections.
Exactly. The warning here is stark. If you cut your customer experience or your brand building budget today just to save money for a quarter, you aren't just taking a temporary dip in metrics.
Okay.
You are permanently cementing a negative reputation into the weights of an LLM.
Wow. Let that sink in for a second. You are literally baking your own liability into the machine.
Exactly, because AI models train on the aggregate sentiment of the web over time. If your service slips or your brand goes quiet and stops earning those third-party citations, the negative reviews and the lack of validation become part of the model's institutional intelligence.
And you can't just buy a top Google ad to fix it next year.
No. The machine has a very long memory. Your brand's institutional intelligence and relationship capital are being judged by algorithms right now.
So if you're invisible today,
Or worse, if you're viewed as a liability by the AI today, you simply won't even make the AI shortlist tomorrow.
that is a chilling thought, honestly, but incredibly necessary to understand. You are building equity with the machine every single day, and you just can't fake it.
You really can't.
If you enjoyed this episode, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on field marketing, channel and partner marketing, account-based marketing, MarTech, go-to-market, and social selling. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on what's next. We'll see you next time.